Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Hope you like the introduction. So I had this sandbox for my grandkids and it was just mostly dirt, so I thought I'm gonna redo it. My granddaughter and my daughter started off helping me, and they dug a little bit of the dirt out, and then I got to work and started digging the dirt out. That was probably the hardest part, digging that dirt out and then trying to find a place to put the dirt at. But I kept at it and kept at it, and then the weather kind of got in the way. So I went and bought these pre-treated boards. They were really expensive, about $25. And yeah, I was trying to put it in, and then the pole that holds up the tarp had concrete on it. So I banged away at it until I banged off enough to put the board in there. The board was actually too long, so I had to cut it with my miter saw. I have a very small miter saw, so I had to cut it on one side, flip it over, and then cut it on the other side. And it still didn't go all the way through, so I had to go get my hand saw and finish sawing it off. That board I just cut off, I'll use it later. So I set the boards in there, and I actually had another board to put over to the other side, and I measured and stuff, and then I made sure they were leveled, and then I dug out some more dirt. But I eventually screwed the boards to that pole for the tarps, and for stability. I went to go look for some screws, and I found some Flex Seal, and I thought, hey, let me try this. So I don't know if it's going to make any difference, but really I just wanted to get rid of the Flex Seal and throw away the can. So I just sprayed it on there until it ran out. I don't know if it's going to preserve anything or make it last longer or anything, but I sprayed it. On the bottom, you see that lip? That's what used to hold the sand/dirt in. And nasty. I needed to get rid of that. Here I am pre-drilling the holes for the screws. I made 3 holes on this side and made 3 holes on the other side, and put some screws in there so that it could have some stability with the pole. I'll probably wind up painting that tarp pole a little bit. It just looks too faded. It's been in there, I don't know, 6-7 years. So, it looks really good from a distance, but it still needed some work. There was a few things that I didn't like about it, and that I will change. There's the screws with the Flex Seal. I know it's looking pretty nasty all the way around, but eventually I'll clean it up. So I was looking at the corner where the corner brick is at, and it didn't look stable enough. I thought, man, I need to do something about that. There's a gap there, the sand will fall out. I didn't like the way that looked. And then I went over to the other side, and the board wasn't long enough. I had cut it to put, I had cut it so it wasn't long enough, and then it had that brick on the bottom too. I thought, man, I got to clean that up. That doesn't look right. I need to redo that. So I thought, well, meanwhile, let me go get some sand down. So I put 150 pounds of sand on the dolly, and then I took it across the lawn. Man, that was tough because of the grass, and 150 pounds. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that again. So I came back and put 100 pounds and went the long way, but at least there's concrete all the way around. I believe I had 12 bags of sand that day, so I unloaded them all. And what you see there is a red bark from another project that I started, 2 years ago, that I never finished. So I thought, well, I better buy some bark and finish off this project. Before I started recording it, I went and got some cardboard, and I laid it all down. And after a while, I will show you the finished product of this project. So back to the sandbox, I found a little block, and I put it in there for stability. I painted it red, and then yeah, I felt a little more comfortable with that. But this right here was nasty. I had to redo that. Well, So I got a piece of wood and that I had cut off, and I put some painting stir sticks. I screwed them on there, and I put glue, and then I screwed them back on the board, and I stood back, and I'm like, nope, I don't like the way that looks. That's got to go. So I had to go buy another board, and I didn't record it, but I pulled out this board, put the other board in. And you know, they're really expensive. They're like $25 each. But here it is. I didn't record the process, but if you can see in the back there how I connected it to the storage. And here I am cleaning up. My yard had been a really big mess for quite some time. I worked on it when I could, when I had the time. And the weather was part of the problem too. So here's the other piece I had cut off from the other board, and I cut it into triangles. I sanded it down really good all the way around on both sides, because I'm going to make some little corner seats for my grandkids. So I did the best that I could so they won't get any splinters. There I am putting them down. I pre-drilled some holes. And then I countersunk the screws so it sits flush with the surface. That way they won't get scratched or poked or whatever. I really like the way they came out. I had to cut the corner tip off so they won't get poked either. But it covered up the red block and it looked really good. And then I did one on the other side as well. And before I finish, guess what? The battery died on my drill or screwdriver or whatever it is. And so the screw didn't go all the way in. But I will finish it soon. No, not in 2 years. So there's the tarp. I was measuring it to see what I was going to work with. There's my daughter. She got a 2x4 and wrapped the 2x4 with part of the tarp. And just when she was finishing up, the staple gun or the stapler broke. It didn't want to work anymore. Well, it does that sometimes. Anyway, I got it working. A few days later, then I got the 2x4 and I went and I wrapped it with the tarp. And the reason I'm doing this is because it adds some weight. So when a storm comes and the wind blows, it'll stay put. So I did the best that I could wrapping it a little bit more, and I actually like the way it came out. It does the job. It does the job that I wanted it to do, and I'll keep it covered most of the time until the grandkids come over and play. But I try to keep it covered because the cats, and there's a few possums, and I've even seen a few raccoons around here. So it's not a litter box. Here I am. This is the third load on another day of sand. I've spent almost $300 worth of sand on this so far, and it still needs more. My granddaughter, who's 7 years old, is recording me. And I took it over to the sandbox. I dumped them in there. I cut them open. And then she jumped in to take the bags out. And it was a tough job for her. She's only 7 years old, but she pushed and pushed and pushed till she got it all out. Charlie loves the sandbox. It's warm. So he goes in there because it's, like I said, it's warm. Here I am trying out the tarp. I like the way it came out. Someday I hope to put something different, but for now this will do. I put the little hooks on the end, and the eyelets of the tarp were hooked on there, and I really like the way everything looks. I'm so happy with it, and so are my grandkids. What do you guys think? Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and share. Until next time, on my next project. Bye.